Hello everybody, it's now Thursday. It's been a bit of a crazy week here in the UK. Obviously, we had the UK response to the Harry and Meghan interview. The majority of my social media feed was showing me people that wholeheartedly agree with Harry and Meghan, that are like Team America. Let's call out the royals. And I think the particular focus in the UK was specifically around the who did it, who made the racist claims. And then you had journalists like Piers Morgan calling out Harry and Meghan by saying, look, don't say the whole story but then leave out the key truth, like the key thing that we all want to know, who said that comment. It's been a really tense week because I think it has split people down the middle. A lot of people kind of agree with Piers. You've also got people like Oprah being criticised for not asking harsh enough questions, which I don't know if I agree with because, you know, apparently nothing was off limits and it was up to her what she wanted to ask. Let me know in the comments if you think she really did miss out something quite important. But one thing I do think was missing from her was the kind of understanding of the royal setup. So it became quite clear to me, certainly from reading through my comments on the live stream I did, Archie was never ever going to have a title anyway. He's so far away from the throne that he's not, you know, anywhere close to being an heir, so he wouldn't have had a title. I just googled, do Beatrice and Eugenie have titles? And titles in the royal family can only be passed to heirs male of the body, meaning that only the sons can inherit their father's titles. So Prince Andrew, for example, he's got two daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. Neither can inherit the dukedom of York. The fact that Archie was told that he's not going to be getting a title and no protection was not a personal attack on Harry and Meghan. They have such a huge spectacle of a wedding and they kind of become like the Kardashians of the royal family. Like they're the most watched, most spoken about, most intrigue about them. Apparently Archie would never have had a title anyway. Maybe Oprah could have known that before doing the interview, because I think for the public that were not in the know about these things, it comes across really badly. It comes across like the royal family were purposefully not giving him a title, rather than the fact that royal protocol and tradition and everything says that you don't get a title if you're not in the direct line of the heirs to the throne. Do you know what I mean? The interview kind of makes you think that he's not getting a title because of his because he's mixed race, because of the colour of his skin, when in fact it says here that HRH titles are destined for the children of the sovereign, grandchildren in the male line, and the eldest son of the eldest son of the Prince of Wales. So that is why Archie does not have a current royal title. What else have people been asking me about? Okay, so Piers has been asked to leave / got fired from his job on Good Morning Britain, which is quite a huge moment because he basically made claims that he didn't believe a word that came out of Meghan's mouth. And then his co-host started talking about the fact that Meghan said, you know, she didn't want to be on this earth anymore. In other words, having suicidal thoughts. For him to not believe her didn't come across well. The TV company did not want to be associated with someone who has those opinions of somebody who's struggling with mental health. So that looks like why he's gone. And a lot of people in the UK are very, very happy about that, because Piers is Marmite over here. A lot of people do not like the man. A lot of people, don't get me wrong, not as a rule, but kind of as a pattern, I feel like older people often agree with Piers, and people sort of my age, millennials, Gen Z, below that, they all really, really dislike Piers and like just don't agree with any of his opinions, and he's Marmite over here. So the absolute craziness of the interview has just caused so much discussion and conversation. I think it has really shone a light on certain members of the royal family who are now under suspicion of, were they the one to make the racist comment? So Oprah said that she can confirm Harry said to her off camera that it was not his grandmother or his grandfather. So there we know it's not Philip and it's not Queenie. Which leaves Charles, Camilla, William, Kate. I don't think either of the women would have said that, but this is just a complete guess. And then obviously in the interview we're told as well that he doesn't have a great relationship with his father anymore, and that's kind of needs work. The newspaper headlines the next day were how distraught Charles was about the interview. Devastated, I think was the word they used. The Queen apparently Buckingham Palace were going to make a comment about it, but then I've read today that they're going to address things privately between the couple, you know, and them. Oh, thank you. That's my tea.
You have, and you've got a little Royal Mail too.
Have I?
I wonder if people love that online where you do like an unopening.
Yeah, everyone loves an unboxing. What is this? My spacebar's broken on my Mac. I've got a new one. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, so Piers got fired. Charles was distraught. The Queen wants to address things privately with Harry and Meg. Philip's still in hospital. Poor Archie is going to have to watch all this one day. I think that kid is going to be screwed, absolutely screwed. Imagine growing up and realising that there was this much speculation and all this media attention about you. That's just terrifying. What else has happened that was big? Oh yeah, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge made their first public appearance since the interview, and an interviewer kind of like runs up and says like, sir, to Prince William, have you spoken to your brother recently? And he's like, no, I haven't, but I will. And then he's like, and is the royal family racist? And he was like, no, we're very much not a racist family. And someone who I follow on Twitter called Chris Shipp, who's like a royal editor commentary person, he said that it's very out of character for a royal to sort of make comment like that and respond even to that interviewer. So yeah, I think it's all just kicking off. No one really wants Charles to become the next king. I think people just want it to be Willie straight away, Kate and Wills. In fact, I saw a really funny comment that said just turn Buckingham Palace into the next big Tesco, which I thought was really funny.
What does that mean?
Turn Buckingham Palace into another big Tesco? Yeah. It means end the monarchy and turn Buckingham Palace into a supermarket. That's what they're saying.
Oh.
Like turn it into a big, basically turn it into a big Walmart or a Tesco or Asda. Obviously we don't have Walmart in the UK. I think it's really tough because there's still a lot of people that fully support the royal family. But there's a lot of young people, there's a lot of other people, not necessarily all young people, that are questioning the decency of a family like this. Interesting that they didn't slate the Queen at all during the interview. So they didn't have anything bad to say. He's like, still got a great relationship with my grandma, like we're still tight, but basically slagged off her entire firm. I love it when they call the firm. They slagged off the firm, basically. There were some extra clips, which a few people have told me I need to go watch. So I'm gonna go watch those now and then I'll give you my feedback on those. As soon as anyone or any firm or institution, whatever, gets painted as racist, firstly, there's no way of proving that you're not. If someone labels you racist, there's just no, how do you unprove that? You can't, you've been labelled it. So people believe it. That's just in their defense. Like, we don't know the context of the conversation. Obviously it came across really badly. And you saw my reaction if you watched the live stream to when Meghan told that. And I was like, wow, that is horrendous. My immediate instinct was that that's come out of an old person's mouth, because old people are always a bit more racist because they're just less forward thinking. They're just not with it. So one thing in their defense and an offence, once you've been labelled racist, there's no way you can prove that you're not. No amount of anything can prove that you're not. So I think that was very, very damaging. It's been said now and everyone knows, but they'll never ever say who said it. Why not? The point is, I believe her. I believe Meghan. Why would Harry lie about that to her? Why would Harry come home and be like, yeah, there was discussions today about the colour of our child's skin? Like, why would someone make that up? Like, it's obviously true. I just wish they'd say who, and then I wish that person was held accountable for their words. And I mean, the world's kind of cancelling the royal family right now, but then there's also a huge amount of people that aren't. So tied down the middle, like, I don't know. So I'm just watching the clips. Harry talks about the fact that the institution was just getting in the way between, him returning into the country, going up to see his grandma, and then his grandma's the Queen's private secretary was like at the last minute changing the plans, being like, no, she's busy. And then he calls her and she's like, yeah, I'm busy. And it's just tough. Like, he's just like, unfortunately, being the head of the institution, the head of the firm, means that you are surrounded by people who advise you on the decisions you should be making. And he said that sometimes the advice is just shit. He didn't say shit. He said the advice is just really bad. And then he was welling up a little bit in his eyes. So the overall thing here is that it's like this public-private dilemma. It's like, we're a family. We're a family, but we happen to be the most public family ever, and we're an institution and a firm, and we're surrounded by all these rules. So all the things we should do, shouldn't do, say, shouldn't say, wear, not wear. And like, then you get someone like Meghan enter in. Interestingly, that she wasn't questioned at all about like the small stuff that came up in the media and the tabloids about her not wanting to be a certain way, wear a certain thing, act a certain way. I don't know why that was never mentioned. Maybe it's just like petty and wasn't, you know what I mean? The kind of narrative that the British media ran with was like, what Meghan wants, Meghan gets, and no one's telling her no, kind of thing. Public-private thing with the family. I think that in that clip, Harry just wants to go and see his grandma and spend time with her. But then you've got all these gatekeepers and middlemen in the way. And I think that must have such a huge effect on like family dynamic in general, like your mental health. And it must be really hard because people in the royal family are trapped. They're in it. There's no getting out. And he said, I'm the only one that's not trapped. I'm out. My brother's trapped. Who else did he say was trapped? Oh yeah, his dad, because they're all the heirs to the throne. He's the lucky one, really, isn't he? If he truly believes that being in this part of this family is no good. I do sympathise with them, but obviously, I know I said in my live stream, it comes across a little bit ungrateful when there's genuine suffering and stuff going on in the world, and your problems are like royal problems. I do stand by that. At the same time, there's no denying that anyone at any scale, no matter how much money or fame or royalty or whatever you've got, can feel very sad, very, very low, no matter who you are. Famous people are not, exempt from having mental health issues and problems like that and emotional trauma. There's some clips I wish they'd left in the main interview. I think it's really strange that obviously they just didn't have enough time to fit this into the main interview. But Oprah asks Meghan about the relationship with her half-sister and the relationship with her dad and the sort of media breakdown. And the main takeaway from this is that Meghan says the media don't report on the news, they create the news, which I do believe. I believe this, and I think the way they kind of knew that this story with her dad was like happening, and they stored it ready to release kind of before the wedding, so that it was this big shit show, and they created all this drama. For them, it's all about more people reading their newspaper. Finally, she's had her say. So I guess this puts to bed the whole like, you want a privacy case against the papers, why are you going on Oprah? I guess she really just did want to have her last say. And then about the relationship with her half-sister. Her half-sister changed her name back to Markle right when Meghan started dating Harry, and then she released that book and the tell-all and stuff. And Meghan said, I think that says enough. Like, I hardly know her. I've seen her twice in like the last 20, 30 years or whatever. She said she saw her 18 years ago, and then before that was 10 years before that. She grew up an only child. I do believe her. I mean, I'd be interested to read the book and see if they did hang out and have like Christmases and birthdays and things like that together. But the way Meghan describes it is that doesn't even know her. It doesn't even feel like betrayal because she doesn't even know the girl. Whereas with the dad, it was betrayal because he did speak to the papers. And she said that they've hounded her mum as well, but her mum's remained silent for 4 years watching Meg go through this. Love how I call her Meg like I know her when I don't. Harry's right in a few clips earlier when he says that the British media infiltrate their opinions into the British people, because I'm not joking, a lot of Brits just really didn't like Meghan Markle. We just didn't trust her. We were like, she's an actress, this is the best acting role she's ever going to get. Like, here she is, centre stage, like, royal family, this is it. I think she comes across really sincere in this interview, and I think it's very hard not to believe her. I mean, the other argument to that is that she is truly doing the best performance she's ever done, and this is like, Oscar winning, which is what Piers Morgan was saying. But I think my position is that I believe her. I'm glad she's had her final say. Let's see now if she carries on just living her life in silence. But obviously I know they've got to do the commercial deals to pay for their security and pay for their lifestyle. And by lifestyle, I literally just mean the security for them and their families. They're no longer supported by the firm. Really eye-opening. I'd be really intrigued to see your reactions and comments and everything. But after watching these clips, obviously the interview which I did live, I think I think that the media should really sort of close the book on the Meghan and Harry thing now. They've said their bit. Whatever happens with the royal family now, people do want answers about the racism thing, and they want that dealt with. They want whoever said it to be held accountable. It'd be interesting to let these two live their life now and see where that goes. I do believe them, and I think that's all I have to say on it, really. If you're new here to this channel and you found me through the live stream I did for the Meghan and Harry thing, thanks so much for joining. Really nice to have you here. I do occasionally dip in and out of these subjects. I actually do have another channel that I run with my best friend Joel, and we've talked about the royals quite a bit on there. We've got a playlist that goes way back. Like, you can kind of watch Joel and I form our opinion of Meghan Markle from the day they announced their engagement, and then they do their engagement thing, and she's super in love, and she comes across a bit too sickly sweet for the British people. And like, there's videos of us online literally being like, don't believe her, she's an actress, she just wants to be a big celebrity. And I just want to say that, you know, if you do go back and find those videos, then obviously that's just part and parcel of being a YouTuber, and your opinions and stuff that you've said on camera will always be there. They'll always exist. I can't hide away from the fact. I think I once said that Harry was like butters, which means like not very good looking, and I got slaughtered in the comments for that because it's just not my taste. Anyway, the point of all of this is that hopefully you can understand that over time people's opinions change. This interview has changed my opinion of the two, and I hope that, you know, just don't crucify me for anything I've said before, because I think we're all just a product of what we're reading and what we're absorbing. So yeah, I think Joel and I are going to have a little discussion in our next lot of videos that we film together, just sort of exchanging thoughts on what we think of it all, because we've both watched the interview separately, but we haven't exchanged our thoughts on it, 'cause we're saving that for an on-camera discussion. So definitely jump over there and watch that when it gets released. Hopefully by the time we film that, the royal family would have maybe made some sort of statement, if they are going to do it publicly. But yeah, for now, that's everything from me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! I try to say goodbye and I choke. I try to walk away and I stumble. And though I try to hide it, it's clear. My world crumbles when you are not near. Goodbye and I choke. I try to walk away and